In the bustling streets of Cardiff, Wales, the life of a young woman unravelled into a narrative of allure, concealed truths, and deceit that gripped the public's imagination. This is the tale of Georgina Symonds, a trajectory that commenced with aspirations of extravagance and love, but culminated in a harrowing transgression that rattled the community to its core. Georgina, an effervescent and determined escort, inhabited a world steeped in affluence and grandeur. Yet, beneath the veneer of sophistication and splendor, lurked a labyrinth of falsehoods and manipulation, ultimately leading to her premature demise. Georgina Symonds, born to Deborah and Andrew Symonds, grew up in Wales, United Kingdom, alongside her three brothers, Alex, Dean, and Lee. Known for her intelligence, ambition, and vivacious personality, Georgina was stunningly beautiful and always fun to be around. In her teenage years, she began dating Pete Deem, who was 6 years her senior. When Georgina discovered she was pregnant at 19, she moved in with Pete and his mother Lynn in Newport, South Wales. They had a daughter named Emily, whom they both adored. However, Georgina, still very young, enjoyed going out with her friends and attending parties, despite her love for spending time with Emily. Pete, being older, was ready to settle down. Reflecting on their relationship, Pete's mother, Lynn, later remarked, "Men were drawn to her like bees to honey because of the way she dressed every day." Pete wasn't interested in Georgina's party girl lifestyle. He wanted his own family. She was always fascinated with her appearance, and this became increasingly so as time passed. Seeking more space for their family, Georgina, Pete, and Emily found a small terraced house and moved in. With a steady income and financial security, money wasn't a concern for them. Pete found success working with electric vehicles, while Georgina, feeling unfulfilled in her 9-to-5 job in the loan industry, sought alternative avenues. She confided in her friends, expressing her belief that she wasn't suited for the traditional work-day grind. Eventually, Georgina turned to supplementing her income by working as a burlesque dancer in a bar and later for an escort service. Both roles appealed to her for the attention they garnered. However, it was during her tenure at the agency that her life took a significant turn. In May 2012, at the age of 20, Georgina crossed paths with Peter Morgan, then 49, a well-to-do real estate developer, in close proximity to where she resided. Peter led a life of affluence, happily married to Helen, and a doting father to their 2 children. His wealth stemmed from a multi-million-pound property portfolio, which notably included a windmill. Raised in privilege on a sprawling 300-acre estate alongside his parents and brother, Peter's childhood was marked by early exposure to farming equipment and machinery. By the age of 10, he was adept at operating tractors and motorcycles. Opting out of formal education, he remained within the family business until the age of 34, indulging in a lifestyle where money was no object. Peter acknowledged a singular lapse in judgment, an encounter with a sex worker in Amsterdam, but maintained his dedication to his marriage otherwise. However, a perceived midlife crisis in his 40s led him down the path of utilizing technology, such as smartphones, to engage with sex workers through escort agencies. In his own words, Peter appreciated the transactional nature of his encounters, describing the appeal of being able to have sex, shake hands, and leave. However, everything shifted when he crossed paths with Georgina. She stood out from the others, unexpectedly captivating Peter's heart. Before Georgina, Peter had been engaging with a new sex worker every month, a frequency that escalated to weekly encounters over time. While overseeing the renovation of a lighthouse for his real estate ventures, Peter showered Georgina with extravagant gifts, including a Range Rover valued at over $12,000 and a $1,000 shopping spree. He even paid her $1,000 for a single night together. Despite Georgina's enjoyment of the attention and luxurious lifestyle, exclusivity in their relationship remained elusive. She continued to see other clients while maintaining her connection with Pete Deem, with whom she shared a romantic relationship, unlike her arrangement with Peter Morgan. However, Peter Morgan harbored deep resentment towards Georgina's involvement with other individuals, despite their lack of romantic commitment. By 2015, he had persuaded Georgina to exclusively work as his personal escort, compensating her with monthly payments ranging from $7,000 to $10,000. During this time, Peter was overseeing the renovation of his Grade 2 listed castle, including Castle Bungalow, a cottage on its grounds where Georgina relocated. As part of their arrangement, she resided in the cottage rent-free. Over time, Peter confided in Georgina about his emotions and aspirations for the future. He decided to end his 22-year marriage to Helen, ensuring her financial stability while allowing Georgina to retain occupancy of the cottage. This turn of events left Pete Deem, Georgina's former partner and father of their daughter, devastated, feeling as though he had lost the woman he loved. In August 2015, the couple embarked on a trip to Africa, yet Pete couldn't shake the feeling of Georgina slipping away from him. The thought of her being with other men, particularly someone as affluent as Peter Morgan, plunged him into a deep depression. Despite understanding Peter's ability to provide Georgina with a lavish lifestyle that made a strong impression on her, Pete felt powerless in comparison to Peter's wealth. Pete's mother, Lynn, reflected on this time, noting, "At this time, Pete was happy to be with her, and he earned enough money for them both to have a good life and do what they wanted. He put up with a hell of a lot. I thought she was just a pole dancer, and I never knew anything else was going on." Morgan loomed large in his life every day. He was on his mind all the time. It was building and building in him. But Pete cared too much about me to talk about things. God, if I'd known how bad he was, I'd have chained him to a chair and taken him to rehab. On November 15, 2015, Pete Deem vanished following a heated argument with Georgina regarding text messages. Tragically, he was later discovered deceased by hanging in a wooded area 2 days later. Alexei Butcher, a friend of Georgina's, summed up the situation succinctly. Rich Pete was completely smitten. He loved and cherished her, envisioning a future together. However, it seemed Georgina was only interested in him for his wealth. I doubt she ever truly cared for him. Even though she effectively left poor Pete for him, her intentions were always to exploit Rich Pete for as much as she could before returning to poor Pete. Adding to Georgina's turmoil, she had lost her father to suicide only a few months before Pete's death. Despite the hardships she endured, it was evident that she harbored genuine affection for Pete, much like many others did. However, she would have to grapple with the devastating realization that her actions played a role in his demise. The news of Pete's death shattered Georgina, leading to a dramatic change in her personality. She blamed Peter for Pete's demise and grew increasingly intolerant of his obsessive and controlling behavior. Additionally, she held Peter responsible for having to deal with social services regarding her daughter's well-being. Georgina publicly criticized Peter in front of his friends and family, which infuriated him. Peter was angry that even with Pete gone, he couldn't have Georgina entirely to himself. Later, he would recount that Georgina had nearly succeeded in ending her own life by slashing her wrists in the bathtub. Peter recounted, "She was under the water, and I pulled her out after the death of her ex. She was taking drugs and drinking regularly. She blamed me for Pete's death. She made me feel guilty and said it was all my fault." Tensions between Georgina and Peter Morgan escalated further after Pete's funeral in December 2015, when Georgina began dating Tom Ballinger, a friend of Pete's. Enraged, Peter started taking Georgina's phone to read her texts. He had also planted a listening device disguised as a white plug adapter in the cottage, making a total of 514 calls to it. This allowed him to eavesdrop on every one of her phone conversations. One night in January 2016, Peter overheard a conversation in the bugged cottage that shook him to the core. Georgina was confiding in Tom Ballinger about her scheme to blackmail Peter into relinquishing the cottage. She disclosed her intention to relocate to London, where she could pursue her escorting career and significantly increase her earnings from upscale clients. Upon hearing this, Peter's heart sank, grappling with the realization that Georgina might not be committed to their relationship. She issued dire threats of exposing damaging information about him to the public, convinced she could ruin him. Georgina alleged that Peter concealed $50,000 in cash at home to evade taxes and was involved in constructing buildings that failed to meet code standards. Furthermore, she claimed to possess evidence on her phone indicating that Peter engaged with sex workers while still married to his wife. After 3 years of dating Georgina, Peter was aware of the graphic photos and videos capturing their participation in threesomes, along with intimate moments in the marital bed at his residence. He also knew that Georgina had successfully blackmailed at least 3 of her former clients. The sudden realization that Georgina posed a serious threat to his reputation and livelihood left Peter with no choice but to consider drastic measures to protect himself. Fearing total destruction if Georgina continued her blackmailing tactics, Peter contemplated eliminating her as a solution. He meticulously prepared for this by creating a cold and calculated list of necessities using the Notes app on his iPhone. On January 12, 2016, Alexei, a friend of Georgina's, reached out to the Welsh authorities. Later that same day, Alexei and Georgina made plans for a playdate for their daughters. However, Georgina failed to arrive to pick up her child from school as arranged. When the police arrived at the cottage, both Alexei and Georgina's mother were present, along with Peter. Peter informed the officers that Georgina had been struggling recently, turning to alcohol and drugs to cope with the grief of losing her father and ex-boyfriend, Pete Deem. He expressed concern that Georgina may have harmed herself, speculating that she could be in the woods behind the home. Despite a search of the area, Georgina was not found. Due to her mental state, authorities classified Georgina as a high-risk missing person. In the end, Peter admitted to the police that he had intervened and taken Georgina's phone from her, fearing she intended to use it to arrange a drug transaction. Furthermore, information gathered from Georgina's family and friends revealed Peter's deep infatuation with her, whereas she viewed their relationship purely as a business arrangement. Alexei informed the authorities that Georgina had made the decision to terminate her association with Peter and was looking ahead to the future. Peter was brought in for questioning after the police located the phone. After prolonged interrogation, he eventually confessed to strangling Georgina and burying her body on the property. Law enforcement officers found Georgina's remains concealed beneath farm machinery. She was bound with rope, and there was an orange string tied around her neck, indicating she had been strangled. Georgina's handbag, vehicle and house keys were discovered discarded in the trash, along with her high heels. Additionally, the police uncovered Peter's listening device. When questioned about it, Peter claimed he had installed it to ensure Georgina's safety. However, call logs for Peter revealed that the listening device had been utilized 514 times between 2015 and 2016. Ultimately, Peter justified his purchase of the listening device by claiming he believed Georgina was exploiting him. He alleged that he overheard Georgina discussing plans to blackmail him into surrendering the cottage. Peter meticulously compiled a shopping list on his phone as a reminder of the items he needed to procure. Among the listed items were poly, a handle, snips, string, tape, gloves, a plug, and a bag, tools later used in Georgina's murder. Furthermore, the police obtained footage from the farm's security system, capturing Peter's arrival and exit from the vehicle, and the concealment of Georgina's body. Authorities speculated that Peter was unaware his wife had installed the cameras after his departure. On January 14, 2016, Peter was formally charged with murder. His trial commenced on November 28, 2016, during which he pleaded not guilty. The prosecution argued that Peter's obsession with Georgina drove him to meticulously plan and carry out her murder. Conversely, Peter's defense asserted that his Asperger's disorder impaired his ability to comprehend the consequences of his actions, thus mitigating his culpability. Despite testimony from 2 doctors, the prosecution's expert disagreed with this assessment. Despite the defense's arguments, the jury found Peter guilty of murder on December 21st. He received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years. In October 2017, Peter filed an appeal against his conviction and imprisonment, which was subsequently dismissed in March 2018. The untimely passing of Georgina shook her family and friends to their core, leaving them engulfed in profound sorrow. Her vivacious spirit, now a cherished memory, serves as a poignant testament to the brightness extinguished prematurely. In the wake of this tragedy, the community united in a show of solidarity, extending heartfelt support to Georgina's loved ones as they navigated their grief. Their unwavering presence stands as a powerful demonstration of the resilience found in collective strength amidst adversity. Though Georgina's life was tragically abbreviated, her legacy endures in the hearts of those who held her dear. May her memory inspire others to embrace each moment and treasure the gift of life. If you found this video compelling, leave a like. and your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.